Hey, James here. So, I started with the art first because I realised I needed some spaceships and I really wanted the game to look decent. So, I've been trying to define a style. So, you can see here is my first ship that I've done. And then I'm going to need three states for each ship. So, I'm going to need the state where it isn't large enough to park. I'm going to need a destroyed state, which I haven't actually drawn yet. And I'm going to need an on state. So, this is the on state. And then the off state will be this with like cracks and that sort of thing. And so I'm trying to go with this simplistic style. I did consider taking the line art out, so I'll give you an example of what that might look like. So I considered taking all of the line art out to give it this really stripped back feel, but I ended up thinking that it just wasn't defined enough with some of the ships that I've made, so I've left the outlines on. So this is the first ship. It's sort of a fairly large round ship. You'll notice all of the ships sort of have a defined shape because in the game you have to sort of fit the ships around to park them. So to be able to make the game interesting, the ships need to have very clear and defined shapes. So our next ship is sort of a longish cargo ship, and that's sort of the long pointed ship that gives you sort of a more difficult path than the larger round ship. And then we also have that in the on mode. And so we then have sort of an L sort of shaped or a boomerang shaped ship, which I will assume will be sort of fit nicely into corners and will sort of interlock into itself. So you can see that with the on state. I then have a T-shaped ship, which kind of looks a little bit like a bug, but I kind of think it's cool. So again, I have the on state for that. And the final type of ship I've designed at the moment is more of your plus sign. So you'll notice I'm talking in basic shapes. So when I thought about making these ships, I based each of them on an individual shape. So I'd also like to do a couple more. So I'd like to do a square one. And I'm thinking sort of Star Trek shuttle type shape for a more square one. And I probably like to do one more on top of that, and then I feel like I've got more than enough ships for the game. And so you notice each ship sort of has its own different colour. And I just tried to make them interesting art-wise without making them too complicated. They're very much geometrical and based on shapes. And so I haven't really done any coding yet, or any more coding than I had previously. But I'm going to now do the destroyed state for each of these ships and then start to bring them into the game, because making the art was actually a reasonably time consuming process because it's not something that I'm really naturally good at, and I have to work out quite hard to get even something that's simple like this. So I'll be back soon, hopefully, with the art in the game, and you'll be able to sort of see the game type starting to take shape.